All right, today we got the Dino here, training at Fenton Powerhouse. Do you want to tell everybody who you are and what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm Omar Abdulla, and I'm 19 years old. We're about 2 weeks out of the T National show. Today we worked on shoulders and traps, and we had my coach come in and push me during the workout, and from there we're just gonna keep pushing till about 3-4 days, and then get ready for the show and start water cutting and carb loading.
Perfect. Yeah, that's the plan. I've been working with Omar for 2 years, little over 2 years now. We've done a show and he brought home like 4 first medal places, and he qualified for doing this show, and we're going for the overall.
Yep.
How do you feel about that?
Confident.
You feel?
Yeah.
You feel what?
Confident.
Confident. There you
Coach
go.
says I'm a little too cocky sometimes, so.
Well, yeah, a lot of people don't understand that. People get a little different on prep, especially now we're pushing too much, like cutting the carbs down, and we've been experimenting with his body this time, so we've been doing a lot of low carb days, and then we'll spike it up with one source, different glycemic index, to see the reaction of his body, and this way we're kind of refeeding him, but at the same time we're studying his body to make sure which source of carb and which amount would work the best in loading him come peak week. So we got a little less than 2 weeks now. We're finishing up last touches, basically glutes and lower back, and then we're gonna pull the water off and gonna carb him up and see him shine on stage.
What's your kind of your training basis for him? Like, with your athletes, do you like to do all their training programs? Yeah,
I got different training programs. I got online, basically online, mostly online, but I work with people here and there. We do team workouts every week, basically every Saturday, just to see everybody, check on everybody, and have fun at the same time. But my business is based online.
Yeah.
There's a platform that I work with my clients on. It's called Trainerize platform, and it's basically for coaching. It's a professional app with a website with everything on it. So if anyone is interested, hit me up, hashtag Teamclassthetics, or hit me up on the Classthetic Boy at Instagram. So
yeah,
now back to
the link will be in the description as well.
Yeah,
let them know.
Right here, I guess right here. All right, so going back to your prep, Omar, do you wanna, and like if you would describe this prep in 1 minute, if you just go down and give us some little highlights here and there from this prep, what was different from your last prep, and how are you feeling overall?
Me, 6 weeks out, I was better than my show day last show, and he could definitely agree. I'm way sharper. I'm way more what's the word? Way more serious, way more leaner, way more full round. I grew a lot I believe I grew into in this prep. Definitely way more rigorous, way more harder. I mean, it's a bigger show, better competitors, better people with conditioning, but more people with size. So we had to push it. Definitely less carbs and calories than I'm used to. Definitely more cardio. It's very odd because I have a love and hate relationship, and I always tell my coach this. I know that I'm gonna miss prep when I'm done with it, but I hate it. So I love the feeling of the hardship, because honestly, off season is, I mean, really, what do you enjoy? I mean, training is always fun, eating is fun, you sleep well. So I mean, it's hard pushing weights sometimes, but you have that adrenaline. On prep, you don't have adrenaline. You don't really, you just want to sleep all the time. You don't really become hungry on prep. It's just more of exhaustion. But I always, like my coach says, this builds charisma, this builds character. You'll be able to tell your future kids, your future wife, you'll be able to tell people, you'll be mentally sharp. And like Tom Platz always says, one of my favorite bodybuilders, if you could do this applies to your career, this applies to your marriage, this applies to your family, this applies to everything. And I'm still 19. I don't have a family of my own, but I know that I'll be able to tell my kids and wife, and through the hardships that we're going to go through in the future with the work and school and everything, I could apply everything, and I could 100% guarantee nothing will be harder than bodybuilding. If you really dedicate yourself and push yourself and know willingly that you gave it your all. Bodybuilding is one tough, excuse my language, son of a bitch. It really pushes you. So a little longer than a minute, but that's kind of to sum up my prep. A lot. You've seen me. You've seen me. Even when I'm flat, I'm much bigger than my last show. I don't know. You're
yeah, his
coach.
last show it didn't go as we planned it to go, but this time he's coming in more hard, more conditioned, and more full.
I don't know.
So pounds, I would say, it was even in loading him in last show, it wasn't perfect, but I would say at least 3, 4.
What? I would say way more.
You would say way more, but we haven't been there yet. We'll see. Everything is gonna change from drastically when we go to the peak week.
And it's hard. This is only the first time, that was his first time you prepped him, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yes, and as he
curve.
just said, yeah, it's a learning curve, and as he said, and I'm sure every bodybuilder out there can relate that training is the fun part, but when it comes to show prep, it's a completely different animal. And as he said, if you apply all the aspects that you learn in the gym, going through the pain, going without motivation, hitting plateaus and keep plugging it away, if you apply this to your life, you can be a man, you can be successful in everything else.
Can I say one thing? So again, was my first show. I had no experience, and my coach told me, I remember it was about 12 weeks out. No, yeah, 12 weeks out. And he asked me a question, and I thought he was foolish for asking me this. He's like, "Are you mentally ready?" I'm like, "What kind of question is that?" I mean, let's be honest, the first prep, I wasn't as like, I mean, again, first prep is always rigorous because you don't really have an experience, but he's like, "Are you mentally ready?" And I'm like, why would he ask such a stupid question? I mean, I'm on high carbs, I'm on high calories, so I thought it was a dumb question. And then he told me repeatedly every single day, "Omar," and I'll never forget this because this is the best way to just explain conditioning. And he says, it's easy to go to the gym and bust your ass with when you're bulking, but he would always tell me these 3 words, and he says, conditioning is earned. And those 3 words stick in my head. It's like conditioning is earned, conditioning is earned. And now I realize how hard and sufferable it is when he said conditioning is earned. It's really, you got to really push your, I mean, everything you got. I mean, you're literally on no gas and you're flushing out fat storage. So you're in survival instinct constantly.
And that's what separates people who win. And yeah, for this time, I feel more confident. He's putting in the work. He's harder. He's more conditioned. He's fuller, and he's gonna bring it. That's the plan.
For both you guys, have people you'd like to thank?
Better thank your wife and kids. I forgot to thank my family last time.
Well, yeah, you gotta thank your family. I first and foremost, I want to thank the team, Teamclassthetics, for creating this awesome environment. So being around people that's like-minded, is just priceless. And that's the first people I would thank, is people in my team. But let's hear the words from the champ himself. He's putting in the work. He's putting in the works. So we wanna hear from him. You wanna thank anybody?
So I want to thank myself. No, I'm playing. So I want to thank my coach for. It's gonna be a long talk, but in general, he's been pushing me and he's been giving me a diet plan and he's been training me. Most importantly, being mentally there. So whenever I need somebody to talk to, he's there, and I could just kind of feel comfortable talking to somebody, and those small talks help you for weeks to come. So that I would like to thank my coach for giving me this kind of conditioning, giving me this kind of power to go into the show. I would like to thank my family. I would like to thank my parents and my little brother. My little brother has been helping me with meal prep, and he's been busting his ass for me whenever I'm tired. I always use him here and there to help me out and get through my workouts. I would like to thank the, like he said, the Teamclassthetics. And apologies if I'm forgetting anybody. I probably am. Again, like I said last video.
Thank God for being alive, right?
Yeah, I want to thank God too. But anybody else I'm forgetting, it's just prep kicking in, I can't remember. But everybody else who supports me as well. And yeah.